Now I'm going to show you how to make the royal tiara. For the royal tiara, you'll need 42 seed beads and 14 sphere beads. And you're going to want to have about a 20 to 24 inch 0.4 millimeter copper jewelry wire. And what we're going to do, we're going to start off by threading on one seed bead, one sphere bead, and one more seed bead. And this is going to form the center peak, just like we did for the regal tiara. So we've got the sphere bead in the center, plus the 2 seed beads on either side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab both ends of the wire, and we're going to insert a sphere bead through both of them, like so. And again, we're going to push all the way to form a center, just like that. Now we're going to start working to either side, and we're going to start by putting 6 seed beads onto the one wire. So kind of split your wires in half. And you're going to put on 6 seed beads. It's 1, it's 2, 3. You want to make sure you're grabbing the ones that are roughly the same size. 5 and 6. So we've got 6 seed beads, and we're going to go ahead and let it fall to be with the center. Now what we're going to do, oh sorry, you need 5, so we're going to take off 1. We need 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a circle by inserting this wire through the first seed bead on the same side and down through the last sphere bead we just inserted. So we're going to insert it like so. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull tightly on that so it kind of makes a circle. See? And what we want to do now is we want to go through the first 2 available seed beads next to us. So we're going to go through those 2. And what this is going to do is this is going to create the bottom of the circle, and so we can continue working to the other side of it. So you just want to kind of pull it easily so as you don't make any knots, and just pull it tight so it kind of locks into place. And it looks a little bit like that. Now we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So we're going to thread 5 seed beads onto the wire. We've got 3 so far. And now we've got 5. And again, we're going to do the same thing, but this time to the other side. We're going to go through the seed bead and down through the sphere bead. And we're going to form that circle, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and insert the wire through the next 2 available seed beads, hereby creating the bottom of the circle so we can work to either side. And for the center, this is what you should have. The next step will be to insert one sphere bead followed by 5 seed beads again. So we're putting on a sphere bead and several seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've just put 6 new beads onto the wire, like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to we're gonna form a circle again, but this time we're not gonna go all the way through. We're just gonna go through. We're gonna form a circle with the seed beads. So what we want to do is we want to go through the first 2 seed beads that we inserted. Only the first 2, like so. So you'll have the sphere bead just kind of floating to the one side, and you'll have the other 3 beads on the loose. We'll tighten it up a little so you can see a little better. It'll look a little like so. Now what you want to do is you want to pull tight and push it up against the center before you pull tight on the circle, because you want to make sure it's as tight as possible. And if it's not, you just need to use your pliers to tighten it up, and then you can tighten it all the way the other way. And just get it just as tight as you can, like so. And we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So again, we're going to thread on 1 sphere bead followed by 5 seed beads. Seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, we're going to form the circle. So you're just going to go around the top. We're going to find the first 2 seed beads we just put on, and we're going to go through them, hereby creating the circle. Start tightening it up, and as you go along, make sure you keep it nice and snug. So far you'll have this for the center. Now we're just going to make one more smaller little circle, but this time we're going to thread on 1 sphere bead followed by 3 seed beads. To either side, we'll do the same thing. So we've got a sphere bead and 3 seed beads. I'm going to push it up against the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through the first 2 seed beads we just put on, leaving the 1 seed bead in the circle and the sphere bead to the other side. I'm going to slowly start tightening and making sure it stays nice and snug up against the other side. So it'll look a little like that. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So again, that's 1 sphere bead followed by 3 seed beads. We'll look and push up snug, and we'll make a circle by going through the first 2 seed beads again. Here's 1, 2, we'll skip the last one, and we're making our circle. And again, we're making sure it stays nice and snug. And it'll look like this. And so we've got the front portion of the tiara is done, and then all that remains is the back part. So what we want to do is we want to put 1 sphere bead followed by 2 seed beads, and we're going to repeat this 3 times. So 1 sphere bead, 2 seed beads. That's 1 time. We're going to repeat this 3 more times. 1 sphere bead followed by 2 seed beads. And again, 1 seed bead followed by 2 sphere beads. See, 1 seed bead and 2 seed beads. So we've just repeated this thing 3 times. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Now what we want to do is we want to put on one more sphere bead and one more seed bead, and that'll complete this side. So what we want to do is we want to just kind of bend the wire so it kind of locks into place while we work on the other side. And again, we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to do one sphere bead followed by 2 seed beads. We're going to repeat this 3 times for a total of 3 times. So we're going to repeat it twice. 1. And we're going for the second round. We're putting a sphere bead, 2 seed beads, and one more time, a sphere bead and 2 seed beads. And we're going to do one more sphere bead followed by a seed bead. We can go ahead and straighten out the wire from the other side again. And again, it'll equal roughly about 4 inches when you press it all together. Maybe just a little bit more, but that's perfect. So now we're going to complete the same locking process, closing and locking process that we did for the Regal Tiara. So what we want to do is we want to go through a handful of the beads on either side. I like to go as far as I can before I get to the main portion of the design, like so. And now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. You want to try to keep the wire as straight and smooth as possible, because any kinks will make it very challenging to make it through. Just remember, whatever you do the one side, you want to make sure it's even to the other side as well. So you can just start pulling on the wires on either side just to get it nice and tight. Once we've done that, we're going to I don't want it to go all the way. I want to just go to the smaller bead. I don't like going over the bigger bead. So just making it nice and tight. And now we're ready to go over the little bead. So we're going to go backtrack over the little bead, and we're going to go through several beads in the other direction, but we just want to go through a couple to start, and we'll just go do a couple at a time. Alright, one it is. And we'll grab our pliers and we'll pull it through. And you want to make sure you get it as tight as possible. So if it's not tight, if it comes kind of loose on the other side, you want to make sure you kind of pull and get under the wire. So you can make sure you pull it nice and tight. So that way you can pull as tight as you can on this side. And since we kind of bent the end a little bit, we're going to snip it off just to make it easier to go through. And we're going to go through a few more. And we're going to pull through, making sure we keep it as tight as possible, with as few kinks as possible as well. Sometimes you'll get a little kink when you start pulling it through, and you just need to use the pliers to help straighten it out and push it through. Alright. So we've got the one side locked, so we can snip off the excess and use our pliers just to make sure that the little pit sticking out kind of goes under the bead. And now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. We'll make sure it's nice and tight. We're going to backtrack over one and go through the next. Again, it's always easier just to go through the one first, and then you'll be able to get to the next ones with ease. So again, use your pliers to help you. And you just kind of pull tight. I'm going to go through a few more. There it is. And again, just kind of pull very easily on it so you don't get a kink. Sometimes it doesn't like to cooperate, so you just kind of need to make it a little more round when it does this. And then you can pull it all the way through. And you just snip it and tuck away the ends. And that's how you create the royal tiara. Thanks so much for watching.